third of the way through, you'll see it in syllabus. I'm going to pull up Blackboard right now, as a matter of fact. How many of you don't have access to Blackboard right now? Anybody just register? There's always somebody or a couple of people that the registrar screws something up or they're slow or something like that. Is there a special problem back there, or do you think you'll be able to get to Blackboard soon? I'm sorry. Okay, so it should just be a little bit of like noodling around the website to get you signed up, I think. Right. So let me just CUNY Plus. Yeah, CUNY First is kind of like access to everything. The portal, I think, gets you to most of the student stuff that you need. So right now, I think I'm logged onto the portal or something like that. But eventually, you get to the point where you see some, even on the Hunter homepage, I think there is a link to Blackboard. If I click on Blackboard, it might ask you to log on to the portal, right, which is a different ID than CUNY, which is usually the same ID for most people, occasionally a different ID than CUNY First. Okay, if it doesn't ask you to log on to the portal, you can just click on CUNY Blackboard 9.1. Then it'll ask you for your Blackboard password or your portal password. I think either one will work here. And when you sign in, you'll be greeted with a list of all your classes. Okay, here we go. It's going to load. And here's all our classes. Right at the top here is our class. I've merged together section 1 and 2 into a single course. If you click on that, it takes you to course. And they made it nice, pretty black and teal buttons and stuff like that. You know, you can adjust it a little bit. But here's the announcements that you might have seen in the mail or be able to get to on Blackboard. If you go into course information, you'll find a copy of the syllabus. You'll notice it's already up to version 2 because I can never get these things straight. But by the time we get up to the third or fourth week, it'll be up to version 5 with all the corrections and typos and whatever I've misscheduled or something like that. So keep an eye on what version number it is. The most current version will always be in that spot under course information. You'll have access to my information, like where you can get me for the moment. The best way to get me is by the Hunter email address. I'll try and get some other ways that you can get to me. Unfortunately, you're stuck with an adjunct. I'm not a full professor, so I don't have an office. I have like a little cubicle and stuff like that, and I don't have a regular phone number. So I'm going to give you a number a department number that you can get to, like maybe Diane's number or something like that, and she'll be able to track me down if you have an emergency. But I check my email really frequently, and I respond to my email. So that's where I am. Under this button, course materials, okay, we're going to have a section in here where each session, I'm going to put up you might have noticed this already if you were on in last couple of days, where I'll put what we're going to be working on this session. If you click in there, you'll see a lecture portion and you'll see a laboratory portion. Okay, the lecture portion is typically going to be a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go over some new information for you, maybe a little bit of theory, maybe some stuff that we want to expose you to. You don't actually have to know how to do on your own occasionally, some stuff to prepare you for the laboratory. So it'll be that usually going to be a PowerPoint, maybe some associated materials, background materials. It's always worth maybe going there the day or two before just to see if there's anything in there, like some readings that might help you out in advance, or if you want to just spin through the PowerPoint to get prepared for what we're doing. The laboratory exercises that we're working on tonight are listed below that. So this is literally going to be your view of this whole thing. Okay, maybe a tiny bit different, but not much different. There's some collaborative sections here where we can put up a bulletin board just before the test where we can exchange questions and answers. So if you have people want to discuss how to do certain kinds of problems, everybody can see the answers to it, or pose new questions or make comments or something like that. And so hopefully this will all work out pretty well. We've been working on this for the last 3 or 4 semesters, and we're starting to get this to actually work well. It was a disaster in the beginning. You can imagine, well, right? How many of you had a hybrid course before? How many of you had a hybrid course that was a semi-disaster? Yeah, I figured that. There's a few, yeah. So hopefully we're getting our act together on this stuff, and I think this is going to work out pretty well. Okay, so at any rate, so that's what you're going to see there. Now, there are certain requirements. So 2 tests. We got there's going to be homework. There's last semester we had 8 homework assignments. Probably be the same thing here. So that's basically a homework a week, right? Now, what that'll allow me to do is that'll allow me to drop 1 homework grade. It's the lowest homework grade, so it helps you out a little bit on the homework. Try and keep up with the homework. There's some courses where you can skip 3 homeworks and just do them all at once and stuff like that. This course is difficult to do that in because the stuff you're learning in week 1 builds for the stuff you're going to learn in week 2 and week 3 and so on and so forth. So if you start to fall behind, it's tough to catch up. I know you got all sorts of other time pressures and stuff like that, but do your best of your ability to try and get the homeworks done on time. I won't give you any more than 1 a week. It shouldn't take more. Well, it'll take me 20 minutes, right? Now I know it's going to take you longer, right? So especially since you have to fumble around a bit and stuff like that, but I'll try and make it so it won't take you more than a couple of hours at the absolute most. Once a week. And I think you'll be able to keep up with this pretty well. So tests, about a third of the way through, you'll see the dates on the syllabus. The tests are non-cumulative. What you're being tested on the first test is not going to be repeated on the second test. Now, after we're done with the second test, we still have a third of the semester left. Instead of doing a final, what we did last semester was a project. And you guys, I'll either present you with a database, or you can, if you have something you're doing in another class, or you have some work that you're doing separately on your own, or at your day job or something like that, some data that you want to analyze, you could use that data set. I'll approve, just let me know ahead of time. We'll set up a schedule and I'll pre-approve it and stuff like that. And your project is going to be a poster presentation. How many of you guys know what a poster presentation is? Oh, no. Okay, I wasn't prepared for that. We got 1 hand up. You guys have been to meetings where like there's people standing around and they have these big easels up and they have a poster up there with the name of the study and what they did and their results, and they standing there. People would kind of walk past them, and there's maybe 50 or 100 of them. They have this frequently at professional meetings. American Public Health Association has poster sessions. The American Industrial Hygiene Association poster sessions. What happens is researchers will take their a study, they'll summarize it. They'll put an abstract up, maybe a paragraph or 2, summarizing it, big title up. They'll talk about like why they did the research, the methods they used, the results they got, and their conclusions. And all of that is on a poster board. You know what I mean by a poster board, like 2 foot by 3 foot. What we did was we had your paste that printed out onto regular paper, right? And your abstract, your description of the study, your description of the study, your methodology, your statistical results, any charts you did, and then your conclusions. And what we did, the instructors, or maybe we'll even do the instructor plus, maybe have some students judging each other's posters. Of course, my grade is going to be worth 90%. The student grade is going to be worth 10%, but it's, at least you get some input. You get a little bit of experience. You get a chance to see what your fellow students are doing. So each one of you will print out the pages that you would need on there, and we bring in the foam board and some tacks and stuff like that, and you can just tack it up so you don't have to, prepare a poster board ahead of time. And that's your project. You'll present your project. Walk around. You'll tell me in 3 minutes or so, what your project is. And this is done in professional organizations when they have their annual meetings and stuff like that. There'll be a section. There'll be, of course, people that are presenting in front of a big audience. But those are limited. Space is limited. Time is limited. But there might be 50 or 100 people presenting their research in these posters that people can kind of just walk through. This section might be on public health. This section might be on global warming, this section, so on and so forth. And the papers or the research is demonstrated there. That's not that bad, right? That's better than a final, isn't it? Yes? Okay, good. You say that now. Where do you have to do it? Okay. So at any rate, like I said, I will give you databases or data that you can use, or if you want, you can come up with your own data. So those are the 3 main things. The homeworks, those are the 2 exams, and the poster are mainly what your grade is based on. Okay, and like I said, keep up, and I think everybody's going to get through this course pretty well. That uh, um, I think that we can present the course in a way that uh, 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 we can make it understandable, and with a little bit of effort, a little bit of reading and stuff like that, a little bit of going over the stuff, I think you guys will be able to keep up. Now, you guys are fortunate because we teach two versions of this course, PH750 and PH751. Now, I know that, there's some kind of like that occasionally there's situations where one person needs it for graduation and they wind up in 750 when they really maybe should have taken 751. Basically, 750 is for people that are not likely to be taking advanced statistic courses, right? That's probably the case with most of you. 751 is for people that are taking introductory statistics with the assumption that they're going to go on to more advanced statistical courses, as they continue along. The good news for you is that means I don't have to be as rigorous as I would have to be if this were PH 751. Okay, but if you don't find this work challenging enough, let me know and I can stretch things a little bit. Not everybody can throw out some things for extra, with credit and stuff like that. But like if you don't feel challenged, okay, because I want to know that also. I want to know that we're presenting stuff that is interesting and at least a little challenging. So that's where we stand. Now, yes. Yeah, I'm going to go over that. First, I was going to mention software. Now, textbook. There is a textbook that we've been using for the last, that's in the syllabus. I think I emailed out, like what the textbook was. It's completely voluntary to buy the textbook. It always helps to have another input to help you understand this material. And this text, we've been using this textbook at least 3 or 4 semesters. There should be used copies all over the place, Barnes and Nobles, online, and stuff like that. It should be pretty easy to find an inexpensive version of it. I think the new version is ridiculous, like $150 or something like that. I think that's ridiculous. When I went to college, textbooks cost $12. So. But things change, right? Yeah. So at any rate, if you can get hold of the textbook, I think it'll help you. What you will need to get is we're going to be working with some software, Excel and SPSS. Okay, well, Excel comes with Word typically, so you'll be able to use Excel and Word together to do homeworks, and upload them and so on and so forth. Excel probably is on every computer you've ever seen. Now I know you buy a computer, a lot of times maybe it doesn't come with it. Student version of Office, of Microsoft Office, I think these days is about 90 or $100 or something like that. I think most people buy it anyway because they need, something in there. It's not an Excel, that it's Word or something that's in there that they need, right? If you're really strapped, there are a couple of open source, translate free versions that are available. OpenOffice.org, NeoOffice, so on and so forth, available on PC and Mac, which give you a spreadsheet that looks a lot like Excel and a word processor looks a lot like Word. If you're really strapped, let me know and I'll put up some information about it. But I think most people wind up with some way to get the Office, Excel and Office on, wherever they might be able to work with it. All of the computers in the lab here in the library all have Word and Excel on it. They also have, all of them have another piece of software which we're going to be using called SPSS, Statistical Software, Statistical Package for the Social Sciences, is I think its original name. I think it's just, you go by SPSS. It's owned by IBM now. That's a special piece of software that's exclusively used for doing statistical analysis. Excel, you do a lot of stuff with. SPSS, you just do statistical analysis, right? So we need you to get that, because if you don't have it, you're not a really, comfortable computer person, it's going to be really hard for you to keep up. It's available on all these computers. The computers in the library, you could, on your when you have some spare time, come in here and play with it and do your homework with it and stuff like that. But my feeling is that the people that need it most very often are the last ones to get it. You buy it on, you don't buy it, you rent a license. The license for 6 months is under $40. I believe that there's a link in the syllabus. If there isn't, I'm going to put it into the announcements after tonight. that'll take you to a place where you can buy it and download it. Make sure you get the right version. There's a Mac version and a PC version. If you're spending more than $40, you're getting the wrong one. There's a grad pack version, which is about $200. There's the full version, which is $1,000, and so on and so forth. The one you want is the 6-month license for, I don't know, 38 bucks, 40 bucks, or something like that.
That's, I think, $5 for something.
What's that?
38 plus $5.
Oh, maybe for the if you want the CD, I think they charge you.
I think it's for the download.
For the download, they charge you for the download. How are you supposed to get it if they don't charge? Are you sure it's not for the CD? It's a
No,
you know what it is? It's a service fee for everything, right? You get tickets online and they can charge you a convenience fee. Like you want to go to a concert, there's a convenience fee of $30 or something like that. But they don't have to print tickets. I mean, what convenience is that? But at any rate, yeah, that's a new one on me. They didn't do that last semester. But yeah, there may be a small down, but it's about 40 bucks roughly. I really suggest you get that early because you may have a problem downloading it or something like that. Then you get stuck on the homework, and then you fall behind on the homework. So you should do that as soon as you can. The last thing I want to bring up in terms of course requirements is that many of you, either in this course or in future, more likely even more in future courses, are going to be working with data that involves human subjects. There are all sorts of rules about studying human subjects because there have been many abuses of people in studies, even studies that you might do in public health. You've all heard about the Tuskegee studies on syphilis. You've heard about some more recent versions of this. It's not like this has stopped happening. We just had a kid die from reaction to a virus that was supposed to transmit genetic material. You had some sort of genetic flaw that had to be correct, that they wanted to correct, and they were experimenting, and he died from a reaction to the virus and so on and so forth. And there wasn't a lot of information on it. We had an asthma study that took healthy subjects and tried to induce asthma in the healthy subjects. And they had 1 or 2 people. One person got very sick, another person died. So it's not like, and again, they weren't really informed properly. So as a consequence of this, almost all institutions that do any kind of human research have something called an internal review committee. The internal review committee is responsible for reviewing all the details on any study that's being done on the auspices of that organization that involve human research on humans and or handling data that involves humans, personal information for humans. So as part of that, you guys are required to take a course in ethics in human research. That's run by an organization that many schools subscribe to called Citiprogram. I'm going to pull that up right now. It's still up behind me, right? Sometimes it times out. Yep. Citiprogram.org. Okay, and what we do when we go here, what we'll see is that we'll see that we have a bunch of choices. Unfortunately, it knows me already. You're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to register, create an account, and register. And it's going to ask for the organization that you belong to. Okay, and we're actually City University. Okay, let's see, City University in New York. And I'm going to continue to step 2. See how it didn't give me a list, right? You got to type in city and you'll see it in there. We're not Hunter. It won't work with Hunter, but just and so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't find an email address that I haven't done this with. I've done this 100 times. Maybe I don't think I've used my iPhone address. Okay. Okay, secondary address. Maybe it'll let me get away without doing that. Oh, no, it wants me to do that too. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, username. Okay, we can make that up, make up a password, verify it. Security question, it's required. I have a cat named Jazz, so I'll put that in there. Now you'll be able to find all my passwords probably, right? What I do now? Continue to step 4. I guess that's what I wanted to do. Oh, no, something's wrong. Note, if you forget, you'll have to, yeah, what's the problem? Note, if you forget, you will have to provide this answer. Okay, indicates a required field. Sorry, the username was already in you. Wouldn't you know it? I'll change it to this. Okay, here we go. Okay, you can, yeah, this is all, anything with an asterisk is required. So I'm male, prefer not to answer, prefer not to answer, or whatever. You can answer if you want. What I do? Oh, okay. You know what I should do is I should turn off the, let me get in here and turn off the power saver. Where is it? Oh my goodness. I don't think I need this. Let's see. Where is it here? Energy. Anybody see it? They always give it a different name. Power saver, energy, whatever. Devices. It's here somewhere. I know it. Keyboard, mouse, device manager, configuration manager, power options. Display, let's give it 3 hours in case I forget. Okay, that should take care of it now. All right, I just want to go through this because I want you to do this early in the semester, because if you wait till the very end, you're gonna see what we're gonna get into. I prompted to click on.
Professor, so you just want the
What's that? We want the certificate. If you've done it before within the past 12 months, you can just print out a certificate for me. If you've done it previous to the last 12 months, you can take a refresher course rather than take the whole course and then print out the certificate for the refresher course. Most of you probably have never taken this before, I would think. I just click the next, go to the next thing. Yeah, so it's asking me to acknowledge something. I'm saying yes because I know it won't let me get any further. Will not be activated. CE function. At the start of your course, you prompted the CE information page. But top of your grade to view and acknowledge accreditation. Online course. The CE function now will not be. I'm not going to answer no. If you picked yes, pick out what type of credit you want to earn. You could choose, I guess, social workers, psychologists, other participants. Okay, I would choose whatever you think is most appropriate for you. Citiprogram can contact you later date rather than research. I encourage you to go ahead and say yes because I can use the information right now because I just want to go through this with you. I'm going to say no. Language preference. The only choice it gave me was English for some reason. Institutional email address. Use your Hunter email address for this. Okay, gender. Now, notice here it's required. Hunter requires you to put that in. Your highest degree, primary campus.
Professor, before you go on,
Yes.
I think you may need to change the address because they updated it to my or something. So when I click on it, I'm not getting through to you.
Only for students? Oh, this is only for students. The My Hunter? Oh, let me see what happens. Let's give it a try. Banner number. Oh my goodness, what is that? Required for CUNY Graduate Center faculty. Oh, staff and students. Banner number. That's a new. Oh, it's not required. Okay, no problem. UPH. What is your role in research? I'm going to put student. Let's see if we have it here. Student researcher, graduate level. Address, all this is not required. Office phone number. I must have clicked something that makes it think I'm a faculty member, I guess. Maybe it knows it from my, okay. Please choose the best option below according to your needs. Responsible conduct course, conflict, human subjects basic course is what you want. If you've taken it before, you just want the refresher, take the human subjects refresher. That's key. Got to say human subjects. Okay, none of these others are appropriate. Got to say human subjects. It's either human subjects basic course or the human subjects refresher course. Okay, choose one answer for biomedical graduate students and so on and so forth. For social behavioral graduate students, I would say that's probably us. If it's appropriate for you to use a different title based on other work that you do, other coursework, maybe for you, sometimes people from another university or another subject area are coming here to fill in a course that they need. Just pick out what's appropriate to you, but I need to make sure it's human subjects. Okay, I'm going to click next. And eventually this will end, believe it or not. Here we go. There it goes. And you get to the point where you can actually start taking the coursework. Okay, it's not started at this point. I'm going to click on it. And you'll see that there's a number of modules. Okay, this is coming up with about 10 modules. You don't have to do the optional modules unless you want to, of course. But you do have to do the required modules. Now, if you made some other choices than I did, you might get a different list of slightly different list of modules or smaller list of modules. But pick what's, make sure it's City University and make sure it's for graduate students or whatever best applies to you. And most important of all, that it's human subjects. So what's going to happen is you're going to actually start to go through these modules. Okay, let me see how we get started here. Not completed, complete my menu, my reports. Let's go to main menu again. Okay, let's see. Not started, available, add a course. I would have thought that did it. I should have been able to take it. Your current score. Complete? Oh, yep. Okay. I have to agree to these various conditions about cheating and so on and so forth. I agree. Okay. You have unfinished modules. Of course. I guess it wants me to do something else. Okay, continue to the course. Eureka. There's one module that's ready for me to take. I can take them in sequence. There's reading involved. You read the Belmont report in this particular segment. When you're done with with that reading, you go ahead and you take the quiz based on that. You take usually it's a 3 or 4 or 5 question quiz. You are required to score 80% overall. There's no specific score in any particular module, but overall you're required to score 80%. You can go back to any module and retake the quiz. You don't have to go back and read it. You can just take the quiz again if you want. If you really did poorly, usually it's a good idea to go back and read it. Now, do you notice that the particular choices I made came up with 14 modules? This may take you 3, 4, 5 hours to complete if you're, if you're a slow reader or if you like you actually are interested in the material and you're not just skimming it to get through it. It's going to take you a while to complete. So I encourage you to do it now when we're not buried in work rather than the end of the semester when if you're taking other courses, you're busy with stuff or we're trying to get ready for the project and you got to get the homeworks in and so on and so forth. So it's best if you get to this as early as you can. Okay. In fact, why not start tomorrow night or something like that, or tonight or something like that when you get home? Because you can always stop. You got to log on. Remember your password and you log on. You can always stop after you read a module or two and then go back to it again. So I encourage you to get started on it. I'm going to tonight I'm going to do the lecture. But starting either Wednesday or next week, I'm going to start playing his PowerPoint lectures in video. You'll be able to see his PowerPoint. You get this from another person's viewpoint, which is always he jokes, but but they're good. They're really good lectures. He's really a bright guy. And he's a real statistician, right? Levi is going to be playing the part of Max Headroom for us. we're going to be playing his lectures and stuff like that. So he won't be there in real life, but he will be there in spirit, or animatronics or something like that. All right. So at any rate, I think at this stage we're going to we're going to do two things tonight. We're going to do the lecture, and then we're going to do a lab. Okay. So I am going to do an early break so I can get set up, and I also can put money in the meter for my car. For about 5 or 10 minutes. That's it. We'll come back. We'll do a lecture. Probably lasts about 45 minutes or so. I hope. Hopefully not too much longer. Then we'll get into the lab work. We'll take another short break, and then we'll get into the lab work tonight, which we'll probably spend an hour and a half, 2 hours until we get done. And maybe we'll have a little bit of time, hopefully at the end, where you get 15 or 20 minutes on the computers to try some of the stuff that we're playing with and see if you feel comfortable with it. Okay, so tonight, that's our objective. All right, anybody have any questions on the course requirements, how to get to the syllabus, Citiprogram, any of that kind of stuff? Everybody pretty comfortable? Okay, you got my email address. Like I said, I check my email compulsively. And so usually I get back to you pretty quick. Okay, doke. So let's take a quick break. Right? Good. Keep an eye on my stuff.